Hello everyone, my name is Lev Ognev. I welcome you to the DigiU webinar. Lev, what are you doing there? It's my webinar. Dear friends, I welcome you. My name is Alexey Ognev. As you can see, my son has holidays at school. I apologize for being late. Today we have more languages than usual because our audience is increasing and the more people are joining us. So welcome you to this webinar. It's going to be very interesting. Today we will have a look at successful cases in the fields of marketplaces, neobanks, and we'll try to evaluate them and see how much time it is needed to launch such projects in the market. And when I was preparing for this webinar, I tried to find the closest cases to our project. And today we will try to explain in a clear, understandable language without using complex terminology. We will discuss how the successful projects, how the successful cases are being launched in the markets of marketplaces, RWA, and banks. And also we'll try to answer the question, what is a successful case? And if this webinar will be interesting to you, we'll do another one. And we'll do our best so everything is clear to everyone. And before we begin, I want to congratulate all the investors of the DigiU ecosystem who received shares of our RWA bank and RWA marketplace. On the 1st of November, there was the first distribution, and around 700 people participated in that. And all of them saw percentages in their personal accounts. Soon, this percents will be converted into some kind of securities. Soon you will also see the financial model, business model, and roadmap. And I congratulate you with that. And you can see that in a new section of the DigiU personal account called Investors Portfolio, where you can see all the assets that belong to you, how much you spent, what of them you received as a gift, for which of them you invested. This section will be updated. There will be more parameters added because there will be more projects. And also, I think soon we will launch an application. So it will be convenient for you to manage your assets, invest, and do other things. So the topic of our RWA projects received interest from our audience. And I think the reason for that is because you studied this market. You followed us. You listened our webinars. You listened to Alexander E's speech when we talked with him about RWA markets. And I consider you are delving into these topics. And we fixed a great interest, both from companies and ordinary people who are following us and supporting us since 2017. And more people asked us to discuss more details and discuss successful cases in this market. I received such questions as what we will sell in the marketplace, how it will be structured, and so on. So we get an idea to give you these details and talk about successful stories, to talk about the companies we look at. And let's begin with the marketplace industry. And what we mean when we say marketplace. Basically, it's a place where clients, users of the marketplace can conduct different kinds of deals. It can be sale of tokenized assets, and also it is the tokenization process itself. Tokenization of real assets, real estate, businesses, legal rights, all this will be added step by step. You can watch our other webinars on this topic. So, marketplace is a platform where it is possible to buy, to sell, and to conduct the process itself. You can tokenize an asset and place it for sale. So at the beginning, that's the functionality we aim for. And let's look at examples of successful companies. You don't need to imagine of a marketplace as Amazon, AliExpress, or eBay. It's a bit different industry, but we are going towards the marketplace of tokenized assets. And which earns as a business on commissions, on tokenization processes, and other paid services. And why do we say that it's a clear business model? Because there are several successful stories. Let's talk about them. In 2017, a project called OpenSea launched on the market. It's a marketplace for NFTs. And when I say the year of 2017, you need to think of that date. It was long before Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies reached $60,000 and more. So it was 2017. It was 3 years before massive hype for NFTs. So it was founded in 2017. And when I was reading this story, there were moments when OpenSea founders were thinking to close the project because they didn't know that there will be this boom for NFTs in 3 years. So let's look at how the company was developing. So it was founded in 2017, and then in 2019, there was the first funding round. So only 2 years later, after the foundation of the company, when they were participating in different hackathons and other activities. So only after 2 years, they decided to run the first funding round. And the amount they raised during this round was $2 million. And a few companies entered during that round. And market players started looking at this company. And in March 2021, they closed round A very quickly. And they raised $23 million. And more serious funds participated in that round, such as Andreessen Horowitz, which is the leader of venture financing. In March 2021, there was the round of Series A, and in 4 months, in July, Series B round with the valuation of $1.5 billion. And it attracted $100 million more. So 2 million, 23 million, and 100 million. And Andreessen Horowitz continued investing. And the project is showing good performance because they spent all the attracted money in the development. And in a few months, they run another round. They raise $300 million. And the valuation of the company was $13.3 billion in 2022. So it costs $13.3 billion. And they started doing all this financing 3 years before that. And when we look at the company performance in March 2022, when they just started when they just started their activities, and it was just the beginning of NFTs. And in 1 year, they had $350 million in transactions on their platform. Then in 1 year, they had $1.4 billion and around 2 million users. And during that time, all the projects were developing. We all remember these sweet times when Bitcoin was very high and there was a lot of money on the market. So the company had a clear and understandable business model. They were earning around 2% on commissions, from commissions. For creating NFTs, trading, and so on. So that's how they were making money and making profit. And by the 1st of May 2022, the volume of transaction on their platform was $2.7 billion. And of course, they were making money from commissions. Now there is not so much interest in NFTs. And there are certain reasons for that. But we're not talking about that. I want to say that on this market, there was a peak. And the company that launched on the right time had a huge capitalization, had large amount of investments, and now they have a growth plan themselves. But now let's look at how investors could earn on that company. And if we talk about pre-seed rounds, where we are on our bank and marketplace. So for OpenSea, it was in 2019. And the valuation of this company at that time was several $1 million. So it was minimal because they had only team and there was no working product. And it's the same story with us. And with the OpenSea project, investors in that company received shares of that company. And the success of this project was not obvious at that time. And when the valuation of the company became $1 billion or $13 billion, investors can buy shares of that company from early investors based on the evaluation of several $1 billion. And if you invested in the company at the early stage, when the evaluation of the company increases, your share will increase as well. And I want to tell you about the benefits for early investors with this company. And there were several factors that have led to success. Proper team, good working product, launch on the market on time, and all this resulted in happy investors, and they became this successful case in this market. That's what we are doing right now. Clear business model, proper team. So there are already some examples of successful stories. And I think this comparison will help you understand better at what stage you are now and what shares you are receiving as a gift. Of course, there are many details, but now you have this opportunity to get into ownership shares of our RWA marketplace and RWA bank as a gift. And many of you already did that. And you can see the name of the company on the screen, OpenSea. And if something is unclear to you, you can do your own research. There is a lot of information on the internet. Where it is heading now, and they had some interesting moments about insider information on this platform. But again, I'm talking about the fact that we have very similar models. And again, it was about 2 years between the start of the company and the first funding round. And now if we are running pre-seed rounds, we will be ready to receive investments from big funds like Andreessen Horowitz in 2025. And if professional market players enter such companies, it almost guarantees the success for this project. Now let's talk about banking and neobanking. So neo means new, but this terminology is not really new. So neobanking is the kind of bank that works only online, with no physical offices. And now we are used to that. We can do everything on the phone, and we don't need to go to physical stores and offices to do some operations. But first, when this terminology just appeared, it was very new to us. Now there are many neobanks in Russia, for example, like Tinkoff, Tochka, and so on. And there are similar services in different countries. And now it's a part of our daily life. And we are used to the fact that we don't need to go to offices of these banks. And it will be even easier in the future. So modern technologies make it easier to perform everyday processes. And we will talk about another project as an example. Maybe some of you know about it. And it's a company with several billion of capitalization. So it's a banking service that becomes simple with the use of modern technologies. In the 90s, it was the same story with internet. It was very new to us, but now it's very convenient and part of our everyday life. And there is such a company called Revolut. It's one of the biggest fintech companies in the world. It was founded in 2015 by Nikolai Storonsky, Russian citizen. And it started as a multi-currency bank card. So it would be easier to pay in different countries. So the company started with such an idea. And the first money they raised was the money of the founder itself. It was $10,000. And he was developing the prototype for several years, building the team. And he was the kind of person who believed in the idea and knew the market very well. And in the same year, 2015, there was an application. And he didn't expect that next year, in 2016, it will have already 300,000 users. And everything worked in the app with just a single click. And everything was simple, easy, and understandable. So he introduced a new level of service. And that's how he took the market. And he gave an interview one time, and now I want to read some parts of it. So they launched in the UK market, and they didn't spend any money on marketing because the product was in demand. And everyone wanted to exchange currencies. So he was at the right place at the right time. And in the year of 2016, they ran the first round. with the evaluation of $13.2 million. So it was the first round, and they raised $5 million in that first round. Different funds entered in this round, and in July the same year, they started round A and raised another $12 million with the evaluation of $48 million. And when I was studying this company, at the same time, when they were running this venture funding rounds, the founder decided to start a crowdfunding model as well. So there would be more users in the product. So it's the same thing we are doing right now. So in the years of 2016 and 2017, they did 2 crowdfunding rounds, and the largest investment from one person was £500,000. And other people invested a bit less. And when I was reading this, it became clear to me that we're doing the right things. We are developing in the right way. We are attracting venture investments and using crowdfunding model as well. And we understand that we are going in the right way. So back to Revolut, this project was getting more popularity and interest. And I will remind you that early investors can exit the round at any stage. So other funds can buy shares from you. Based on the capitalization of the round at that time. So you can exit the company almost at any time with a profit. And venture funds, they always talk about how they exit companies, with which profit. And if we, for example, exit the EYWA project, we will earn 3 times more than we invested as an early investor. And another interesting fact, back to Revolut, for 6 years, the company reached the evaluation of $33 billion. And funds invest in the company based on this evaluation, because the company needs money for marketing, for new markets. And in 2022, the amount of users of Revolut was 35 million people, in 35 different countries. And the revenue is increasing, and the company provides enormous amount of services. And one of the most profitable, their project was related to cryptocurrencies. And in the year of 2021, after 6 years, it shows the profit for the first time. And the profit was $31 million. It was the first profit for these 6 years. And in the year of 2020, 1 year before they showed the profit, they didn't have any profit. They had loss. So that's a good example that illustrates why venture money is needed. How long it takes to show a profit, and what early investors can receive. And of course, it's not the only project in this industry. There are different neobanks in the industry. And in some way, we are also a neobank. And when we say RWA bank, we mean decentralized bank based on smart contracts where human factor is eliminated, and where you can easily get a loan, tokenize assets, and give them and provide these assets as collateral. And we, as a company, earn on commissions, on processes, and other activities that usual traditional banks earn too, and that we as users don't even know about. So that's the uniqueness of our offer. When you receive shares of such projects at the earliest possible stage, and you get them as a gift. And I will try to read your questions from you related to my presentation and answer the most interesting ones. Let's begin with French-speaking channel. DigiU guarantees its financial freedom and financial freedom of its early investors. Yes, you are right in some way, because when we launch these funding rounds for our project, we aim for financial freedom. And when we say about artificial intelligence, and it's another topic for our webinars, you can look at the company called OpenAI, it has enormous evaluation. And for such projects, in like Marketplace and Neobank, the probability of success is quite high. And we aim to solve global challenges that we will face not in 3-5 years, but in 10 years. Is it possible to prolong the financing round until the end of 2023? I want to say that we'll have different funding rounds. And these first rounds will last for about 3 to 6 months. And we need to raise around $1.5 million. That will allow us to build the team and build the product. And then we will have other funding rounds. And of course, we'll have these kind of distributions. They will not be so easy as this one, because now even for $10 payment, you get shares. Maybe we need to introduce some limits, for example, for $100 or something like this. Because we have $2.8 million in installments. And if we had them now, the speed of development would be much greater. So there will be different rounds, but on different conditions. Can I ask, what is the coefficient of these distributions? You can find these details in the post that we published a few days ago. With percentages and so on. So 10% of 2.5% of the projects were distributed to you. And most probably, if we do everything correctly in rounds A or B, when we will have investments from big market players, one of the conditions will be to buy and sell based on the evaluation at that time. So of course you will have the possibility to sell your shares and buy. Is marketplace the same as exchange? You can compare them in such a way, but it's not really the same thing. It's a platform for tokenization, placing products, and so on. Maybe it will be standardized sales based on certain prices. And for example, if we take precious metals, the price will be connected to the real world price. So it will be a platform where you can buy, sell, and where you can create your tokenized assets. And now it would be great if you like this idea of this webinar, where we reviewed successful cases. So it will be more clear what our company does. So you understand why you received these shares as a gift. And if you like this idea, write this in the chat. And in the next few hours, I will read the chat and have a look. And now let's look on the screen. And I will remind you when the first financing stage ends. So it ends on the 10th of November. And you have the opportunity to receive shares of 2 projects. And to do that, you just need to make a payment for DigiU shares. It can be a new DigiU share or payment for existing ones. So you have 8 more days to do that. And maybe we'll conduct another webinar next week, but it depends on the fact if you like this webinar. Thank you for today's meeting. Have a good one. See you soon.